Mr. Lawani, very interesting. You're giving us not just your thoughts about these numbers, but what you think we should do moving forward. In terms of industrial manufacturing, the numbers, with the exception of food and beverage, didn't really come in as strong as anyone would want it to be. What do you think the key issues are here?
Well, you see, April 22nd last year, we adopted the IE window. The availability of foreign exchange and the interventions by the central bank we didn't start to feel the impact until sometime in the third quarter and fourth quarter. I think you will begin to see the impact on the first quarter, but to actually catalyze and stimulate this economy, you need to lower interest rates, you need to give credit to the sector, you have to return some of the CRR money, that is cash reserve ratio money, and then the banks have to be willing to lend. Right now, the banks look as if they are so risk averse and they're not willing to build along this. But it takes time. You see, in the United States, the recession was 2007. The impact of the recovery and all that Obama did, we started feeling in 2017, 2018, 2019, 10 years later. What the policies that we are seeing today, before we start to feel the impact, is going to be maybe slightly later. So, one, the people have to be patient, and the government has to be much more up and going. That is, they have to be more audacious and more aggressive in the policy implementation that we see today.
A very quick one, Mr. Lawani, and we understand you're going to be on our news tonight, our headline news, which is the biggest news here in Nigeria tonight on this network. So we got to let you go. But just for 2 minutes, quickly, mining and quarrying, part of what the Buhari's administration is talking about and focusing on, shows a very some numbers, quarter on quarter, fourth quarter, 8.33% positive, full year close to 2.2%. Do you think we're getting something right as far as the mining sector is concerned?
No doubt about that. No doubt about it. Kayode Fayemi has been quite aggressive about this. He's come out with clear policies. In spite of the problems we have between states and federal government, there's a clear articulation of the fact that mining and quarrying and solid minerals is the way to go in terms of diversification away from oil. It's close enough to oil because it has the same principles of extraction, but it's policy-driven, and people have to be incentivized to come and invest in it. It's heavy, it takes time, but you're now beginning to see, if you grow at 2.2% in this sector, while the economy as a whole grew at 0.8%, you have outperformed the economy by almost 100%. That is significant, and it has to be recognized and acknowledged.
Mr. Bismarck Lawani, economist and chief executive officer at Financial Derivatives Company. Thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you in another 12 hours live here on Channels Television, News at 10 tonight. On this very important day. Thank you. Do have a great day. On this very big day when Nigeria's biggest economic data and, of course, GDP numbers are the biggest for any economy around the world. So when the GDP numbers are out on the street, everyone is all over it. So we're over that for the 1 hour of this program. Let's get this conversation expanded a little bit before we go on the first break here on the program, Your Business Morning, this Tuesday, the 27th of February. Let's cross over to our Abuja studios where Channels Television, we're having Associate Professor Uche Uwaleke of the Nasarawa State University is also standing by to get into this conversation as well. This morning we'll try to get that get him into the conversation as we move on with the programming. He will be weighing also on this. He's an Associate Professor of Finance, and he has his hands around economy and finance as well. Associate Professor, well, I just take the associate out. A professor is a professor anyway. I'm not one. So give it to whom is due. Good morning. Give us your first word, Professor Uwaleke, as far as these GDP numbers are just hot off the press.
Yeah, thanks, Boston. Of course, there's no doubt that we're making steady progress, slow, but steady progress, given the fact that for 2016, it was negative at minus 1.58%. And now for 2017, we're told the economy has grown in real terms by 0.83%. Of course, we recorded remarkable improvement in the fourth quarter of 2017, increasing by as much as 1.92%. If you compare that with third quarter of 2017, the increase that we saw was 1.4%. Again, for me, what is also remarkable about this is that the growth is not as fragile as we had in Q3 of 2017. In Q3 of 2017, it was driven mainly by the oil sector. The oil sector grew by as high as 25%. But what we are seeing now in fourth quarter of 2017, a growth rate for the oil sector of just about 8.6%. So that fragility, that vulnerability, tends to be reducing. Another thing to note here too is that many of the sectors that we saw, particularly in the third quarter of 2017, that were in the negative territory, are now beginning to bounce back. Talking about manufacturing. Manufacturing was negative in Q3 2017, and now at around, even though it's still small, 0.14%. You also look at even agriculture. Agriculture made some progress. Agriculture, Q3 2017 was just 3.06%, but for Q4, we are told it's around is in excess of 4%. So for me, that's also remarkable. So if you take a look at those sectors, the critical sectors that were in a negative territory in Q3, as I said, are beginning to bounce back. The same with financial services, where you have two subsectors, the financial institutions and insurance, and manufacturing in particular, with 13 activities, recorded, as I said, marginal improvement, and that's not unconnected with, we saw the signs anyway, from the Purchasing Managers Index that averaged 57 points, during the fourth quarter of 2017. But again, too, the computation of real GDP has been based on, we are told, on an average oil production of 1.9 million barrels.
Professor Waleke.
So again, that tells us...
Professor, may I respectfully cut in here that we'll need to take a break. Of course, you are in here with us on the program till about 10:45, so just hanging around there. We'll get back to you to expand that conversation, bringing that particular part of our economy into the power conversation. The commodities are oil and gas, as well as agriculture, bringing the commodities into the tea leaves of 2017 GDP numbers. Stick around from Abuja Studios. We'll be right back. Professor Uche Waleke of the Nasarawa State University. We'll be right back after the break. Watch your Business Morning.